Hey guys, this is Josh with Paparazzi Imaging and Films. We have a KFX legend in the house, ex-pro ATV pro racer from back in the day. This is episode 7 of the Vignette podcast, so we're going to jump right into it and start off. Just like everybody, everybody becomes friends or acquaintances at one point, and we've come way past that now.
Oh yeah,
to be like brothers. So kind of walk me through how we became friends and the whole shebang.
Weren't you there?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
See, this is the problem. No, I mean, started back in like 2015, and I reached out to you for a little footage, and we hit it off. You know, you pushed me to push myself to get my game back. I've been off quad for 8 years, and it just kind of went from there. Started hanging out, started doing more shoots, doing some photography stuff, and just having a bunch of laughs and being goofs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's how we do.
Like friends do. Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And it all started from when you got back into racing, right?
Yeah.
And then your son raced with you, and now he's doing his own thing. Kind of, he's dabbling in motocross still, rides.
Yeah, he still rides, and he's trying to just have a little bit of fun with it. Get back to the fun times he had when he was younger. He got really serious there as he started moving up the level and the speed, and everybody's built a little different.
Yeah.
I could handle the pressure, and he could too. He just chose not to, and I really respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I really respect that. So he just took a step back, and he's, like you said, doing his own thing.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. He's doing the sim. He's doing car racing, which is insane. I tried doing it one night with him before I moved to Minnesota, and it was just crazy how the simulator and the steering wheel and all that stuff, it's like real.
Yeah, he's quite the racer, and he's put his time in practice. I'm just proud of him. And whatever he tries to do, he usually excels at it. Mm-hmm. He's pretty smart, athletic. So
you
power to him.
You got to be athletic when you ride motocross, right?
Yeah, exactly. Power to him.
Yeah. Yeah, look at you. You're freaking I don't even know how old you are, but you're still out there ripping it up and
72.
Jeez.
Man, I'm old.
Yeah, you are. Old as dirt. I don't know how you're doing it, Grandpa.
I don't know.
Come on, Grandpa.
The walker.
You're like Dean Wilson in that one video when he dressed up as an old man and he went out at
I should do that.
Yeah, and he started throwing fat whips in front of the kids.
I should do that.
That would be funny.
That would be. I'm actually still in my 40s. Let's just, I'm not 72.
I was going to say, you aged well if you did.
It's good genes.
Yeah. And probably a lot of just for men.
What? You going to come at me on camera?
Hey,
we were friends.
Some friends, acquaintances, now enemies.
Well, all right, just add it to it.
You got to have all the titles in there, man.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's definitely been fun over the years watching you progress, getting back on quads, watching Albie, your son, progress on bikes, and just working with you guys together. We've had a lot of fun trips going to California.
Yeah.
Having our first magazine cover.
Yes, we did.
Was it 2021?
2021 September issue.
Yeah. That was. I'm so pumped to be a part of that. I'm so glad that you reached out to me because it's like I've never been to California. I never expected to be out there for something like that, and for us to get on the cover was huge.
Yeah, it was a surprise. And it was great. It was a great experience to be part of with the Dirt Wheels crew, mm-hmm. and to go out to California, make the trip out there. It was a lot of fun, and we definitely had our trials and tribulations.
Yeah,
you had to change your flight.
Oh yeah.
You had to change your flight, because I think I broke down in New Mexico or something.
Yeah.
And
wasn't it a leaf spring or something?
No. The transmission coolant line came off the tranny.
That's right.
And so thank God to O'Reilly Auto Parts send the check.
Right now, you're
And-
sponsoring the video.
Yeah, you're sponsoring the video. It was just a simple little clip. Put it back on, refilled the tranny, and we were on our way. But you had to change your flight. We had to change photographers with dirt wheels because they had a separate photographer. And even though I said I wanted to bring my own, they still had their guy because he still had to do the write up and everything.
Right.
And he was fantastic. All three of us got along great. But it was something. You know,
It was a blast.
I didn't know if you were going to be able to make it when I called you and said you had to change your flight.
I know that was really nerve wracking, and I was on the cusp of telling you that I was just, it was too much for me to not go. But then I called my dad, and he was like, "You got to go. You got to do this because it's like one of those once in a lifetime opportunities. You never know if it's going to happen again." And I was just like, I was so happy that I went because it was an experience.
It wasn't just the quad trip. It wasn't just the Dirt Wheels photo shoot. I mean, we had some great people that we were staying with out there.
Yeah.
And we got to go, obviously, to the zoo, and we got to go to the different beaches, and we got to go out and have great food.
The tacos there were phenomenal, by the way, guys.
Just San Diego, tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
It was just a great experience all around. And again, it just leads to our friendship of, how it's progressed since 2015.
Right.
It's just memories, just banking them up.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Man, it is flying. Man, I'm old.
Yeah, I know. You're 70, man. Come on.
Come on. Well, that makes you like 51.
I guess I age well, too. Must be all the tacos.
Oh, man, jeez. Something else.
Right? Always cracking on each other is great.
Yeah.
It's part of that brotherhood.
Yeah, we definitely give each other a hard time, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we did find out that we were on the cover, what was your first thoughts? Because immediately you called me right away.
Immediately I called you.
Yeah.
My first thoughts was just disbelief. I think people that know me and that have worked with me have realized that I'm a very, very humble person. And I overlook myself sometimes because I see all these other guys with these fantastic builds and these other people doing these fantastic things. I still think of myself as kind of like a hometown guy. And when I saw myself on the cover, it took weeks, months for me to look at the magazine and be like, that's me. So I called you right away and I said, Josh, we did it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even just the cover. I mean, it was a 7-page article inside. And that quad was phenomenal. And the build was phenomenal. The experience was phenomenal. And we did it together.
Yeah.
So it was just hard to believe that, we got the cover.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I don't know how many people have made the cover like we did in such, I would say in such a short time span too.
Yeah.
I
mean, I only started doing stuff in 2019.
Yeah.
So it was 2 years. And it was my first shot at Dirt Wheels magazine.
Right. And nevertheless, it was an international magazine.
Yeah.
We spoke earlier when I was coming out here, but when I did come out here to Mass and driving, we were just talking about how we can name so many photographers out there and how many of them are getting to that point. That's the real thing is like you said, we did it together. It wasn't just
me. It wasn't just you.
No.
It wasn't just, there's so many people that are involved in these projects. Excuse me. That you can't just take credit for it.
Right.
And we talked about this too, is there's so many hands in on these builds. Whether you purchase the parts, whether you build the parts, whether you design the parts, there's other people that are a part of it. And those people deserve the credit too. It's not just me. As far as you and me go,
Yeah.
I couldn't have made the cover if it wasn't for your shot. I mean, your shot was I mean, it was on point. That's why I got the cover.
Yeah.
So the fact that I built the machine, that I was riding it and doing something cool for the picture, you still captured the moment.
Right.
So it's a team effort for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think no matter, just like riding motocross, you have a team behind you, but really it's up to you to execute it, you know. But this is
Yeah.
a totally different situation. But I executed the shot. You had the contact with dirt wheels, and going out to California, I think was just the icing on the cake to make it all happen. Because one, we had a great track in California
Yep.
at LACR, and that was again another winning piece for the puzzle.
Yeah, it was, because we tried riding the day before at Glen Helen. The day before, actually, you flew in.
Yeah.
And it was surprising at Glen Helen. It just didn't seem to flow with me. It didn't seem to work.
Well, weren't
And
you on the off-road track?
I was on the off-road track.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had an open practice there that day, so there were no quads out there. Just dirt bikes. So we went over there to that track, and it was just really hard to do anything kind of cool.
Yeah.
So when we figured out to go out to LACR, and Sammy, she hooked us up and got us in, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
The track was phenomenal. It was groomed great. If you're ever out that way, you need to go to LACR.
For sure. Check it out.
Yeah, just outside Los Angeles. It's awesome.
It's a hike if you're coming from San Diego, but it is definitely worth it.
It is worth it.
Yeah.
It is definitely worth it. Okay, LACR, you're now sponsoring the video too.
Yeah.
Checks, royalty checks, Sammy.
Yeah.
Send the royalty checks.
on this podcast. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of endorsements on this podcast.
There's going to be quite a few more coming.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, get the popcorn. But going back to the whole Cali trip, the Cali trip was designed for this build that you had. This dream, this concept that you were building in your mind, and you made it happen. Just like all the work that I do, I have a blank canvas and I just execute because we have ideas. So what was the concept behind this bike? Because I mentioned in the earlier start of the show that you're an ex-pro.
Yep.
How was it different from those bikes and from the people that build all these other hybrids? What set it apart?
The first bike from California, that bike had a little bit of a lot of different bikes put into it. I tracked down a lot of the old Team Monster Energy parts, and I was very fortunate when I started up my company. I got in touch with like Doug Roll, and he worked with me. Super nice guy. With Jed over there, and Jed's son's there, Jaden, doing all the Elka shocks and things like that, and I just got in pretty tight with them, and they kind of took me under their wing, and I was very, very fortunate to have that kind of experience to work with me. Tell me, hey Al, maybe you shouldn't do this, maybe you should try this, and I listen to every single word those guys say.
Even though it was a lot of input.
It was a lot of input. I mean, they know their stuff.
Yeah.
Jed's been around forever. Whether it's core trucks, whether it's works racing, whether it's just everything. Wealth of knowledge. Super nice guy. And Doug, obviously, he's the man. He's just. Stuff that comes out of his mouth, you just sit there and you just look at him, and at some point you got to act like you know what he's talking about.
Right.
Because, he's so smart.
Yeah.
And so you try to take as much in as you can. But anyway, working with those guys, Doug obviously built and did a lot of work with the team in 07 and 08. So he had all these parts that were on Chad Wienan's four-wheelers, Josh Kramer's. He had some stuff from the Works guys. We had David Hagsma racing, and he had some of these parts that they tried different things with. And he's like, "Yeah, here, put together something killer.
Right. Right.
And that's what I did. And I had a ton of the old team parts on it. Had incredible Baldwin motor. Mark Baldwin built a motor. Obviously, this is a couple times off, but
Yeah.
I guess this motor was built for Josh Upperman. And
Man, that was early.
it was early. It was like a '07 motor, '08. Even though the quad says it came out in '08, they actually released them in '07.
Mm-hmm.
Had some killer head work done to it. And I'm talking not just porting. There were things done with the valve springs and the stacks for the valve springs for pressures and big webcams. And webcams, send a check.
Same with Elka.
Oh, yeah. And Baldwin, too.
And roll.
Funding the next project.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. No, Mark Baldwin, he's a wizard at what he does. And
Yeah, we got one of his exhausts over here.
right here.
Yeah.
I don't think he made very many of those, so that one just went up on the wall and is going to stay there. But the motor, had the Baldwin head on it. We had a Wiseco piston in it, had a polished transmission in it, bunch of other goodies. He did a board throttle body for that setup too, that I still have, and it was just a potent setup. Mm-hmm. And then with the suspension and everything from roll, and the Elka 5s, revalved and everything for my weight, and there's a bunch of stuff in there that I can't talk about. That
Secret.
they put in there for me. The shocks are just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So that's how that bike kind of came together. Mm-hmm. It was a collab of those type parts.
So it's basically like a Frankenstein kind of bike.
Basically,
But a Frankenstein of factory parts that were from the factory teams.
yes, that weren't released to the public.
Yeah.
So that's why that particular four-wheeler has been retired to my dining room, is because if I break any of those parts,
You can't replace them.
it's got a one-off radiator.
Yeah.
It's got just all these things. And if I break them, I can't replace them. So that's why that four-wheeler has been retired. And I had to build my next one that I'm sure we're going to get into.
Yeah, we'll get into
that's going to
it.
be down a little farther,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, don't worry. So pretty much you retired that bike after our magazine shoot in California, and it's just a trophy piece now with all the bells and whistles. And me putting my eyes on this bike when coming up, being friends with you and doing all of our shoots and stuff, it's come a long ways, because I remember you just talking to me and saying that it only had pretty much the intercooler, right, or the oil cooler, oversized radiator, and you had a street bike braking front lever.
Yep.
And that was pretty much like the only trick parts that you had on it, besides maybe a factory Cowie clutch cover on it. But pretty much the bike was all you.
It had the A-arms on it.
Okay, yeah.
It had a set of Kramer A-arms on it.
Okay.
And Fox shocks.
Also the Fox shocks, yes.
And we 86 those and went to the Elka 5s.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's now, like you said, in your living room and just a showpiece. And
yeah.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, go to my YouTube page. Just go through the catalog and just look up. I don't even remember the name of the video that I put it as. Californication. Super, super detailed, super awesome. Like it's one of my favorite videos that I've done. So go check it out. I'll put a link in the description as well for you guys to check it out. But it is, again, one of my favorite videos that I've shot, especially with you.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun doing the Cali trip, having the custom build, going to Doug's place in California, and just seeing California in a whole is just like so monumental.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Yeah, it's definitely a timepiece for sure. So you are manufacturing your own parts now and you had a little bit of parts on that build, but now you're doing much more with the. You did say that you have a new build now.
Yeah.
It's quite a showpiece. But talk about the custom parts that you're making now from when you started, because it's kind of grown through the years.
It has. And a lot of stuff is still in prototype stages because I won't just build a part and sell it because it works. I have to test it, beat the living tar out of it, make sure I can't break it, make sure I can't damage it, make sure it doesn't wear out. So it tends to be 1 prototype, 2 prototype, 3 prototype, 4. Usually around 3 or 4. That's usually the product that goes up for sale.
Yeah.
But we have the lower stem plate for the KFX with a greasable, replaceable bearing. We have the upper stem clamp that has different bushings on the inside. For some stems may be a little bit different in size due to powder coat thickness, powder coat being worn off, paint being worn off, etc. So it comes with different ones for that. I'm offering my own swing arms. KFX straight up swing arm, a KFX TRX hybrid swing arm, which you run the TRX carrier, brake system, axle, all those type things, just because there aren't a lot of cowies at the tracks. And if you break an axle or something, it's much easier to run over and grab an axle from somebody that rides a Honda than trying to find a Kawasaki axle.
Yeah.
So we produce those swing arms. I think I mentioned the subframes, lowered subframes.
You did not mention that.
All right, lowered subframes. They take a Honda TRX airbox with a KFX FCI intake.
That's pretty trick.
Yeah, everything kind of bolts in together nice. Keeps the mud out, but lets a ton of air in. You can modify the back of the box for seat pins if you need to, so your seat doesn't come flying off. Let's see here. Without letting the cat out of the bag on some of the other stuff.
Yeah, if it's all prototype, you don't want to really release it.
Yeah, I've got some prototype brake caliper mounts, relocation stuff. I have a chain guide for the KFX that bolts up to the factory swing arm.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep. So you can get that. And I usually made it with the TM Design Works roller chain guide. TM Design Works, they've been a great help also. They work very closely with me on a lot of things that I get involved with chains and slides. And Jerry over there is just also a wealth of knowledge. TM Design Works, check. Send it.
You're on the bandwagon.
Yep. So I have that piece. And it's any Kawasaki factory piece. If I don't have it in stock, which I probably do, wiring harnesses are a common thing, top end rebuild kits, every engine gasket, transmission gears, bearings, wheel bearing kits, swing arm bearing kits, everything you can think of. And if I don't have it, I can get it from Kawasaki within a couple days.
Right.
Or another parts warehouse. So it's kind of a all-in-one stop. You can give me a call, tell me what you need, and we're good to go.
Yeah, so check him out, TranGheseDesign.com. He's got all the hookups. He's got all the parts that you need if you're building a KFX Kawasaki 450. Or if you want to build your own, you can do that too. He can help you out. So
yes, definitely.
Yeah. He's known. You're known. You're known as the KFX King. Is that correct?
King, guru, legend, all fake. Yeah, no, I a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of messages, a lot of text messages daily. And I try to get back to just about everybody. And sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 days because there's just sometimes such an influx of people either wanting parts or needing a question answered to why their four-wheeler won't do this or won't do that, or what the best suspension setup is and how to dial in a suspension on a KFX, ride height questions.
Right.
And no question is stupid.
Right.
If you don't know, it's better than just going onto the forums and stuff and getting every Yahoo out there's opinion.
Right.
I am not the know-all, be-all. There's plenty of guys out there that are very versed with the KFX.
Yeah.
But if you value my opinion, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And, if you use it, use it.
Yeah. Would you say if one of these people that go on the forums, would you say that it would be more difficult for them to get a hold of these people that have been part of, let's say, the Factory Cowie teams or Doug Roll or any of those guys, Jed, like you mentioned earlier? Would it be harder for the average person that just wants to build a Cowie to get a hold of those people? Because really you built your empire around your quads, and that's how you've acquired this sort of knowledge from these people, because you've done it yourself.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know you can get the time from some of these guys just because they are so busy. Like as I mentioned, Doug Roll being super, super nice guy, but he's probably the most busy individual I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
As far as trying to get a hold of him. He called me one night. It was probably like 8 o'clock at night, and he's like, I'm just finishing up. I'm running over here. He's got avocado or
Farm.
Yeah, avocado orchard farms, whatever. And so on top of doing the ATV stuff, on top of doing the side-by-side stuff, top of doing the truck stuff, he's out there farming the avocados and trying to get people to do this and that. So extremely busy. So to get a hold of him is really tough.
Yeah.
And through the years, obviously, I've gotten little snippets of this from this guy, snippets of this from this guy, snippets from this, and I've accumulated all that knowledge, and I've put it to use, and I've put it to practicality. So when they call me and they ask for my opinion on what's going on, I'm the first to say, like I said, that not everybody knows everything. Yeah. And if I'm questionable on it, I tell them, you know what, I'm not sure, but I do know somebody that I can contact, and I'll contact that person. I'll get back to them, and I'll let them know, hey, this is what I found out for you.
Right.
Because I definitely don't want to mislead anybody.
Yeah.
That's very important to me.
Right. Right. Yeah. Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah. And like I said, my opinion, if somebody says they know it all, that's probably the person you want to stay away from.
Yeah.
Because everybody learns something every day. There's a million engine builders out there, and if you think your engine is the only way to go and you don't listen to that little thing the person tells you, hey, make sure you check this or hone this just this way or ream this passage just a little bit. These are little things that you'll just overlook.
Yeah.
So you can't be that guy. You always have to listen to people that have more experience than you.
I think that's more of a life lesson than anything else. I've heard from one of my favorite movies is obviously Rocky and the Creed series too, and there's a quote that Rocky says. He's like, "You're not learning if you're talking because you're not listening, and if you're not listening, then you're not going to learn." That's so right. It's like a life lesson. If you think you're a know-it-all, then you're definitely not. You're definitely not the person to acquire somebody's attention to give them the wrong information.
I agree 100%.
So aside from, did you want to add something?
No, just that. You said it perfect. There's guys out there that specialize in this, specialize in that, and just wealths of knowledge.
Right.
And you got to take the time to listen to that. I've only been in business now since 2009, late 19, December of 19. So basically 20.
Yeah.
So like 3 years.
Yep.
And there's guys out there with just wealth of experience over what I've got, but in different machines too.
Yeah.
I try to stay focused on the KFX.
Right. Yeah, I think that's where the name comes from, and everybody dives to kind of gravitates towards you.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask too, with you making custom quad parts for the Kawasaki. Are you going to be developing any more parts outside of that? Even though you just mentioned that you stay focused and true to Kawasaki, but are you going to, with your son racing dirt bikes, or riding dirt bikes, are you going to come up with any specialty parts, or are you just going to kind of stick with the quads?
I think there's going to be a little branching out, dabbling in a couple other things. Mm-hmm. The biggest holdup right now is pricing.
Yeah.
The cost of aluminum to CNC. Mm-hmm. The steel, chromoly is just, everything's through the roof. Mm-hmm. And to step out and manufacture a part that maybe 4 other guys already manufacture.
Yeah.
And put all this time and this money into a CNC'd aluminum product or a milled product.
Let alone buying a machine yourself.
Yeah, let alone buying a machine yourself. Just is I don't think the smartest thing for a small guy like myself to do right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think staying with the ATVs is going to be something that's going to be 10, 20 years down the road either.
You never know. There's that guy. Never know. There's that guy, Binky's Forever ATC. He's got all them quads, you know?
Yeah, he does.
Hey.
Binky's.
Check in the mail right now.
Check in the mail. No. So it's a big question mark.
Okay.
But I'm not going to go away from the KFXs. Mm-hmm. I've really a lot of other companies besides myself, when I've talked to them, they're like, oh, we've definitely noticed more phone calls, more requests for parts, things like that. And they've already heard my name come up. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely helped reviving the KFX, keeping it alive, stopping people from parting them out, keeping them together, keeping people riding them, and keeping performance parts being made for them is basically my goal.
Yeah, that's good. You need the industry as a whole needs somebody like that, because there's the Yamahas, the Hondas, the Suzukis that are hybrids people are just building those and they're not looking at the other bikes like Kawasaki or whatever's out there. You still, like, I don't even know, Cannondale, a name that hasn't been really, surfacing much, but it's cool that you're still keeping it alive. Because, in my opinion, the Cowies are one of the most badass looking bikes out there.
I agree. And I just want to make a comment here that he just paid me a compliment. And I don't know the last time he did that.
Well, you're welcome. A compliment that I didn't even mean.
Oh.
Maybe I did. I don't know. But either way, yes, the Cowies are one of my favorite bikes, and the way that you build the bikes are a chef's kiss, in my opinion.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Compliment number 2.
Yeah, that one was meant.
No, they look fantastic. They handle fantastic. They're light. They're narrow, so they feel very maneuverable in the air. Mm-hmm. The weight transfer is great coming out of corners on them. And there's so many pluses. I don't get why people went away from these machines.
Yeah, right.
So
before we move on, I want to ask you, what is the future for Tranghese design?
To try to stay afloat.
I know it's a hard economy, right?
It's tough.
Maybe all the foreign people that are coming over across the border will buy some parts.
Yeah. Come up north. Come up north and buy some Kawasaki parts. Just trying to keep giving the best customer service, the best quality parts. Mm-hmm. And I'm the first to admit my parts are not the cheapest on the market. But due to the R&D and everything that I put in, you're getting the best product. Mm-hmm. And people have started to realize that. They've bought parts elsewhere and then came back to me and said, should have bought yours the first time. And I don't hold it against them. But
just one of those told you so.
Yeah, I try not to do that with customers I don't know. I would definitely do it too, though.
I'll take that as a compliment.
So just quality parts, customer service, and just moving forward, trying to evolve the KFXs and possibly other people's needs, as you mentioned, dirt bikes, TRXs, YFZs. The whole ATV industry just needs more people to put out quality parts.
For sure. And your thing is quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity.
And you're the, I wouldn't really maybe call you an engineer, because you kind of are, because you're making parts and you know what you want, you know, but you have a team to help you get there. But nevertheless, you're the designer.
Yep.
You're the test dummy.
Yep.
You're the rider. You're the face of these parts.
Yes. Yeah, I do designing, any of the moving parts, the geometry part of it, how things work, what's going to interfere with them. And then I have a great team of machinists, welders, guys, like I said, that I can't do it without photographers, videographers. It's a big collaboration.
Yeah.
And again, extremely fortunate to be in a position I am, that I have the knowledge around me to give me input from roll design, TM design works. Years in the past, I've talked to Mark Baldwin a lot.
A name that you didn't mention was Jimmy White.
We haven't got there yet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. See, you just ruined it.
I'm sorry.
That was the year after
Let's go
California.
Very true.
Very true.
I'm just biting my fingernails over here, just waiting for you to drop these stories.
Yeah. No, Jimmy White is a great guy. Great guy. Stand-up guy. Just reached out to me and said, "Hey, Al, why don't you come out to Arizona and buy the rest of the stuff off me from '09 and stuff that Doug didn't have and I've got." So if Jimmy White calls you and asks you to do something, you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just that simple.
I'll be right there.
Yeah, it basically went like that.
Yeah.
It basically went like that. And we made plans to get out there and grab everything that he had. And he was nice enough. He let me stay out there for 3 weeks. We went out and the side-by-sides and the breakfast in the side-by-sides and went all around Mesa. And it was a great trip. It was 3 weeks in California, then a year later, 3 weeks in Arizona with Jimmy. His wife, Rhonda, great people. Great people. And again, what we just talked about 10 minutes ago, how fortunate I am. It's all just kind of snowballed into this. And you just got to stay humble. You got to keep working hard. You can't take a day for granted, and you just got to keep moving forward.
Another life lesson.
Another life lesson. You never know when that phone rings. You got to pick it up because you never know who's on the other side. It might be Jimmy White.
Hey, yeah.
You know, it's like, yes, sir. Okay, sir. I'll be right there, sir.
He's your drill sergeant.
Yeah. No, he's definitely not a drill sergeant. Great guy. He's a great guy.
So, moving on from that, what is your history in the ATV motocross industry? Like, besides building these bikes, we've talked about that you've raced for a number of years. I can't even remember the years. Yeah, the years that you mentioned to me. But you started what? Did you start in the 90s or
97, 98?
Yeah.
You know, and I suck.
At least he's being honest, people. He is being honest.
Man, that hurt.
He sucked today at the photo shoot.
I did not. Let me tell you what, I kicked ass. I just persevered with it, just stuck with it. I started riding at like 13, 14 years old back in 87.
Holy crap, that was the year that, what, Ducati?
Ducati 4, yeah. That was my first quad I ever rode, was an 87 Ducati 4.
Were the three-wheelers still around back then?
No, they stopped in like 86, and I never got into the three-wheelers ever. They didn't appeal to me. Well, I'm surprised they didn't appeal to me because anything dangerous, I'm usually all about it.
Yeah.
You know, quads, dirt bikes, women, you know, anything dangerous. I'm
You took it right out of my mouth.
blonde, redheads.
Yeah.
Stay away from the redheads.
Yeah, dangerous.
Yeah, sorry. But,
not sorry.
yeah, not sorry. Anything dangerous, I'm usually about it, but three-wheelers just didn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
Didn't appeal to me. So four-wheelers it was.
Okay.
Ducati 4.
Insane bike.
Insane bike. Went great in a straight line. Turn it and flip it over.
I'd say that's like a Banshee. It just did not handle at all.
Man, I crashed that thing so many times. I'll tell you what. It was brutal. And the crazy part is...
And they didn't even have technology back then. They just had A-arms and springs.
That's it. And a big KX 250 motor in it.
Had big tires.
Big tires.
Yeah.
Send it.
No, thank you.
No, so that was it. That's what started the whole thing for me back in '87.
Jeez.
Yep.
Jeez. I'm sure your
Ducati
parents
4.
weren't happy about that.
No. No. Every time somebody called and said, "Hey, your son's in the hospital again," flipped over his four-wheeler. Yeah. Well, people wonder today how I ride like I do still, and crashing is not part of my repertoire. Yeah. You know, they're like, how, you know, you keep it on four wheels, you know, you make everything look smooth. I crashed a lot.
Yeah, a lot of trials.
A lot of trials, a lot of errors. I crashed a lot. So I put in my years of crashing. I don't want to crash anymore.
Yeah, you've honed your craft in very well.
Basically.
That's funny.
I went to a higher level as fast as I could go, and now I'm a little older, so I'm back down here a little bit. And,
a lot more conservative.
A little more conservative, and still like jumping. I still like being in the air. But I just keep rubber side down now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, our adventures of filming, there's been one that I can remember that you had to crash on the first film day. Was that Stellina's?
Oh, yeah, the triple.
Yeah.
Came up a little short.
Yeah. Wasn't it you're kind of whipping into a corner?
It was a triple into a corner.
Oh, no, yeah.
And then a triple out of the corner.
Out of the corner, yes.
And it was a little... You still don't believe me, but there was water in front of that takeoff.
No, I don't ever believe a thing that comes out of this guy's mouth.
There was water in front of the takeoff.
Yeah, whatever. All right. So
and it caused me to slide sideways. And I took off sideways, and I landed sideways about right on the face. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, but I tucked and rolled nice.
But you know what the funny? You say that there was water at the face of it,
yeah.
or before the face?
Yeah.
There's no video proof of that.
But there is video proof of the nice tuck and roll I did.
I don't know. I just don't think you were hanging on tight enough.
Oh, man,
or you were just really trying to impress me because it was a big film day.
No, I bounced off that triple hard.
You definitely did.
I bounced hard.
You didn't get up for a good 15, 30 seconds.
Yeah, and I don't remember if that was the hip or the wind being knocked out of me. I don't remember what it was.
Probably both.
But there's pictures. And every once in a while you send me one and me doubled over on the ground. Just
what can I do? I got to bust your chops.
Yeah, that's right. I did crash. Man.
How does this guy keep blackmailing me?
Jeez. Here I am saying I don't crash anymore, and well,
yeah.
That was like 16 though, or 17.
I think it was 18.
Correct me again.
Sorry.
18.
I just got a lot of knowledge too.
18.
Yeah. It was my first year doing snowcross. I do believe. I was kind of getting into snowcross a little bit heavier, but I do believe it was 18.
One thing's for sure, I did crash.
Oh, that's a conversation that we could just go in circles about.
At least it was over a triple. It wasn't like a lazy double or anything.
Yeah, but it was kind of small. It was kind of small.
It was right out of a corner. Help me out.
I can't. There's no rebuttal.
It definitely wasn't big, but I mean, it was...
that downhill was sketchy.
The downhill was sketchy.
I was nervous for you.
Remember I told you I wasn't going to do it?
Yeah, and then you just... Oh, dude, I'm just going to go send it. And you sent it, and you're like, oh, I'm going to send it all day long now.
That was a very intimidating...
Well, you couldn't see the landing.
You couldn't see the landing.
Yeah.
And the landing was down It's probably only 60, 70 feet out.
Yeah.
But it was also down about 50 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So when you took off, you're looking out there. There was no way of gauging how far you had to jump.
Right.
Because your momentum of going down was taking you a farther distance.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to hit it pretty fast.
Right.
Because if you didn't, you weren't going to make that land.
You were going to crash again.
And it was going to be bad.
Yeah, it was going to be hard.
Yeah, that was going to be an ambulance ride.
That would have sucked.
I probably shouldn't have did that.
You did it anyways.
But I probably shouldn't have.
Oh.
I like jumping. What can I say?
Yeah, you said that already.
I know. Just
It's all
send
good.
it.
It's all good. You
Send
got the wings.
I don't have wings.
Well, you like air.
I definitely like air, but no wings. No, I crash. Trust me.
Oh my God. So, at what year did you start racing quads?
97 or 98.
Oh man. So they were still racing TRX 250Rs then.
Yeah, I was on a Takati 4.
You're insane.
I was on a Takati 4. I did have arms on it and had the best at the time Works connection shocks on it.
I remember having them on my Banshee.
Yep. And we went out there and there were two brothers on 250Rs. And back then it was kind of like an open class. There were Banshees. There was everything. Mm-hmm. And the two brothers would always come in first and second. And I was always coming third.
Mm-hmm. Was this on the New England side or were you doing nationals?
It was New England.
Okay.
That was like Southwick. Basically.
Yeah. But still, New England had big pros.
Yeah, coming up through the next few years after that.
Yeah, you had like what? Yeah. Joe Havisto. And...
Yeah, yep, Joe. I was training with Todd Vescovi before he passed away in 04, 05.
Okay.
And he was fast. And trying to keep up with him caused a lot of crashes.
Again, with the crashes.
Well, like I said, I got him out in the early years.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough.
But,
well, it bit you in 18.
Let it go. Just let it go. It's like Frozen. Let it go.
I'm sorry. It's just a memory that keeps popping up in my head.
Yeah, I mean, the names that have come through New England are incredible, and a lot of them obviously much more talented than me. When I started racing, Mike Walsh was racing up here.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was racing up here, and Peter Carlotto for Nax Racing. He was fast. And, these guys, as I was coming up through the ranks, I think were already pro riders at that point. Mm-hmm. And I didn't race my first pro race till probably like 2003.
Okay.
And I had a few injuries. Mm-hmm. So,
scattered. Okay, so a name that you didn't mention was Jeremiah Jones. But he wasn't racing New England. He was on the Pro National tour, but
I think he did come to New England a couple times, didn't he? I never got to line up on the gate with him.
Yeah, he was way ahead of you.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But he was still an animal.
Yeah.
Dude was an animal.
Yeah, no, phenomenal rider. A lot of people looked up to him. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I never had the honor of meeting him. Mm-hmm. But what he could do on a four-wheeler was definitely impressive.
Yeah.
A little bit later than him, also on Suzuki, Dustin Wimmer.
Yeah.
He came up here. He raced up here a little bit after I had gotten hurt in 08 and then walked away from racing.
Okay.
But Joe Havisto, Josh Kramer, Vinnie Mofford, Justin Hoffler, Jay Brazy raced pro class too.
Richard
Pelchat. And we had 18 quads on a gate. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun. A lot of really fast, bad dudes. Mm-hmm. A lot faster.
There was a lot of talent back then.
Yeah, I mean, I was no slouch, and I'd finish 8th, 9th, 10th.
Still incredible.
And yeah, which exactly I thought was amazing when you look at the starting line and you look down and there's Josh Kramer and Joe Havisto, like I said, and some of these other big names and other guys that are just stupid fast local guys too. Danny Shea, Bill Waite, just amazing talent. Mm-hmm. And I'm very fortunate. I got to race with a lot of them, become friends with a lot of them. Mm-hmm. So very fortunate.
Yeah, that's super cool. The history of the ATV motocross is super rich. You know, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think that'll ever die because it was such an exhilarate. It still is an exhilarating sport. I keep up to date with it still now. Watching Joe Hetrick, I know him as a good friend, I would say. Nick Mosier, I know Richard Pelchat pretty close. I've done work with him. But yeah, I would say the history of ATV motocross and is huge.
Yeah.
You know, it's still alive today.
Sure.
Especially with you building all these custom quads and having all these guys that were on these factory teams. You know, having that is huge.
Yeah, it's so valuable to have that kind of knowledge. You know, these guys have already tried, and they've already told me, "Hey, we tried this; it didn't work.
Yeah.
So don't try that."
Right.
You know, so it focuses my attention in other places.
Right. And
So-
that's super cool.
And they don't have to tell me that stuff.
Right.
But like I said, these are just good people. Just, you know, Roll, Jimmy White, you know, Jed, those guys, just, you know, they've been there. They did it. Why reinvent the wheel?
Right. Yep. Yep. You're kind of just finishing what they started, really, and maybe
Yeah.
just innovating a little bit to where it's kind of getting you to be that guy. Like we said earlier, yeah. I can't even remember how many custom quads that you have come in here that people just request of like, hey, I just want you to build me a KFX.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And to just go back here just a sec to what you just said was, I don't even remember what you just said, but
Thank you. Thank you.
no. The fact that they are giving me, you know, that input, and I am bringing some new technology because a lot of the stuff that they did was back in 08, 09.
Yeah.
You know, the new suspension setups and things that I'm able to get a hold of, that they want to participate in. And I truly believe they want me to be successful because they want to see what they started and Kawasaki shut them off
Right.
before they could achieve that final step.
Yeah.
And it's
What
been
if?
years. Yeah, it's been years. But again, we're going to get into this next build. But this thing that I just finished, if Kawasaki was still producing a four-wheeler, this four-wheeler could be raced in the pro class and the nationals. It is definitely a winning machine.
Absolutely.
And it's what those guys started, and they kind of fed me information stuff, got me to this point to finish. Just again, it's just an incredible thing.
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
Absolutely. So is there, before we move on to what we keep dabbling in, is there any other kind of history in your motocross career that you want to talk about?
No, just really the friendships,
Okay.
you know, and just if any kids are watching or any parents are watching, you know, it has to be fun.
Well,
It has to be fun.
yeah, all the podcasts that I talk about that I have all these people on, I always ask them, is it fun? Do you see as a manager, because there's a lot of managers that I know in the snowcross industry that are actually still heavily involved in motocross, and their knowledge from moto to snow, because snow is actually relatively new. They didn't have a place to start off. You know, like ATVs, they had motocross back then to reference off of. Snowcross, they only had ice ovals. So these team managers, they're like, it was an open book, and we had to take rules from somewhere. Eventually, any kind of circuit does, but what I'm trying to get at is, like you said, having fun. And if you're not having fun, and a lot of these managers say it, then why do it? That's what I say. It's like,
Why do it?
just like this podcast, I love interact. I've never been good at talking, but this brought me to another level of where I could have more fun with doing video, photo, graphic design work. And it's that fun factor. It keeps it alive. It keeps it, entertaining too. But like you said, it's got to be fun. If it's not fun, don't do it.
Yeah, and when I was dabbling in there in the pro class racing with those guys and stuff, and in even earlier stages of racing, I took it very, very serious. And I didn't talk to people. And I showed up on the gate, and I didn't talk with anybody. And if you were in my way in the first corner, I was hitting you. And later on in years, over maybe like 5 years ago, people were like, yeah, back in 98, I really didn't like you. I really didn't like you. One guy told me, he didn't like me just because I was faster than him. And he thought that I was cocky and whatnot. And
what do we call them, haters?
No, because I was kind of a jerk.
Okay.
But not intentionally. I was just focused on my craft. I wanted to go and race. That's what I went to the track for. But what we were just talking about, it took the fun out of it.
Yeah.
So when I got injured, even 06, 07, 08, I kind of changed the way I did things. And I talked with people and I let friendships happen.
You matured.
Yeah. And then when I came back in 2015, I was a different guy. I just wanted to talk with everybody. I just wanted to help everybody. And I think that's what led me into starting my own company, is because I want to help people. Anything I can give back to the sport now, that's all I want to do.
Right. And that's really cool, because there's not a lot of people out there that want to do that. They just want to stay secluded. I'm the guy that's going to build your quad. You're going to come to me. And that's that. I don't release any of my information. And I'm not saying that's like you have to give away information, but it's cool that you grew up in the sense of, I'm not going to take it as serious. I want to have more fun. I want to make friends. I want to have relationships, because I do believe in that era. People, and I even talked to people in the snowcross industry about this, going back to early 2005, 6, 7, 8 years, to those mid 2000s. And in my opinion, watching snowcross racing then was very professional. You had money that you were making. You had sponsors that you had to get on the podium. And it's the same thing when you raced. These guys, you were going out there and you were cutting throats no matter what you had to do.
Yep.
You were bumping people, and it was about winning.
Yeah.
And that was the only... I don't really think that back then it was... I don't know how do you say it. I don't even know how to say it, but
because he's lying.
I'm not. Wow. Whatever. You're off the podcast. This is it. You're done.
That's it. We're done.
Yeah. This is gonna be one big blooper reel. But back then it was professional. You had to take it seriously.
Yeah, you did.
Because if not, then you weren't going to be that guy.
Yeah.
You weren't going to be that guy. Mm-hmm. And the definitely tides have turned in that aspect of being professional. Mm-hmm. I look at ATV motocross now as like everybody's friends on the gate. All the pro guys, they don't stay to themselves. They're always talking in the pits. And I feel in any kind of sport now, any sport, you talk about baseball, basketball, motocross, it's all changed. Everybody's friends with everybody. And I think that professional side has faded away just a tiny bit. Mm-hmm. Because then that's the factor of where you can make rivalries. You can make stories happen. You can make, headlines blow up to where it was like, oh my God, this dude just took this dude out because he didn't like his girlfriend or whatever the case may be. He gave him a bad look.
Back to women, see? Bad things.
Yeah, bad things. Especially the redheads.
Stay away from the redheads.
Yeah, bad news.
Oof.
Yep. But again...
Tiffany, stay away from Jessica. Any hairdresser?
Oh, terrible. Yeah. Bad.
Yeah.
Anybody that drives a Lexus, maybe?
Yeah. Anybody named Mercedes or Diamonds? Stay away from them.
Yeah, big time. They got big hoops, for sure run the opposite way.
Yeah.
But what do you like? Do you feel like that kind of went away a little bit?
Yeah, I do. I think the serious side comes out in practice during the week. Mm-hmm. You know, when you're doing that, you're watching your diet, you're hitting the gym, you're doing all the things you got to do. And when you're in your pit dealing with whatever you have to deal with, I think, you know, you still the serious side. But yeah, I do see when you hit the gate, you know, people, you know, making comments to each other as you walk by.
Right.
And so, I think that's definitely changed a little bit.
For sure. For sure. And do you think it'll ever get to that point, or to that point again, or no? Because people are becoming more, I wouldn't say, they're definitely getting more socialized, but yeah.
I think money controls that.
Okay.
If you've got a huge, you know, payday, you know, your Eli Tomac's, your Chase Sextons.
Yeah, but if you look at those guys have outside money besides factory rides that they're getting money from.
They do, but also, you know, you see them interact in the tunnel and stuff. But when they get out to the gate, we're talking about when you're sitting on the gate.
It's business.
They're mechanics talking to them, and the same goes for the ATV industry. You know, these guys, they may be sitting there waiting for their moto to start, and they may be ribbing each other a little bit, or hey, you know, what about this section over here? You know, what about I saw you come through there, blah blah blah. But when you get on the gate, you know, it's a different light switch, especially, you know, these factory guys and you know, guys that have contracts, whether it's outside contracts or inside contracts.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to change any more than it already has. But, you know, there's a time when they need to be serious.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to sound like I contradict myself here, but I do believe that it's good for the sport because the sport needs personality. It needs people that are going to be versatile.
100%.
You know, in every area. If somebody starts a vlog, you know, that's very personal. If somebody starts a podcast, that's very personal. If you're just doing Instagram stuff, that's personal. And it's, you know, that people want to see that. They don't want to see professional anymore, but it's you got to be professional in the aspect of you're going to take it seriously.
Yeah, you know, Joel Hetrick goes out and puts his things on Instagram, and Chad Weenan and you know, Jeffrey Rastrelli, you know, doing his schools and things like that. So these guys are putting themselves out there, and they are being more personable, and they seem like, you know, really nice guys, and I know a lot of them take time to work with younger kids, and if a kid asks for an autograph or whatever, so those are all good things.
Yeah, absolutely. The sport needs that to grow.
Yeah, and same goes for on the dirt bike side. You know, you look at what drives somebody up in popularity, what opens doors up for somebody. Perfect example of how you want to be is uber professional. Like we'll just, it's a simple one. Jet Lawrence. Kid bursts on the scene, you know, just makes a off comment about, wow, I just won. I deserve a donut.
Yeah.
And next thing you know is people are holding up donut signs. And his 17-year-old kid at the time says, you know what? I've got a big following. People know I like donuts. I'm going to get my own donut shop called Jets and Donuts. I'm going to bring donuts to the track and everything. He's making buku dollars.
Again, checking the mail.
Hey, Jet. And I know, Jet, you know people that I know because I know them, and yes,
that's a full circle.
We do have some similar friends, and you know it. So send the check.
Or some free donuts, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So, you know, and it opened up a whole new avenue of things for him after racing, just because he's being personable, friendly. You know, all these guys. You know, even Tomac, he had his years where he was very serious.
Yeah.
He was very stone-faced. But now he's enjoying his racing, smiling.
Right.
You know, being a little more open up on the podium. And you've got your time to be serious on the gate, and then you've got time. It just helps your sponsorship.
Yeah, for sure.
it opens up other doors, other avenues for you. And I think that it's great to see. Mm-hmm. You know, it is great to see for both ATV motocross and definitely dirt bike motocross.
Mm-hmm. For sure. That goes into any kind of sport, really. I do believe.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
whether it's baseball, basketball, snowcross, anything, tennis. You know.
Yeah.
It definitely needs that personality.
Sure.
Check.
Serena Williams.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she's dominated for years, and now that she's not even the most dominant player anymore.
Yeah.
But she still dominates the TV.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. So we are in the process of, if you guys are watching or listening or watching this podcast on YouTube or any,
Start paying attention right now, because
Yeah.
the rest of the crap, you didn't have to worry about that.
yeah, skip forward to this point if you just want to.
Yeah. The rest of Josh babbling, don't worry about that.
Yeah, total junk. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just wrote down these questions for the hell of it. You know, I found them on Google.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of filming another one of our videos, and this is our second magazine shoot.
Yep.
What are we doing different from the first one? Besides the little breadcrumbs that we've been dropping.
Again, weren't you there? Why are you asking me what we're doing? So what we're doing,
Whose man's is this?
I don't know.
Get him out of here.
Just drag me out, throw me out behind the dumpster.
I don't think you'd fit in there. You're too big. That's a compliment, dog.
Are you coming at me? Oh, now we're gonna fight. Now we're gonna fight.
Now we're gonna fight.
Now, why?
At least it's on camera this time.
Why?
You started this.
Dude, I'm right here. Only thing
I can't even make eye contact
The only
with
thing
you.
between us is air. Oh, that's gone. Oh, now you're bowing up.
Always.
This is a daily occurrence between the two of us.
Yeah,
by the way.
this was a.
Should we tell them about Big Y the other day? We got into it a little bit in Big Y. We're just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an incident to cash register. There was a little chest bump and a little bowing up, but we made it through. No blood.
Well, Old Man River over here just couldn't get the barcode scanned, and I was getting impatient.
It's free pickles.
Well, obviously the kid at the register scanned it, and you had to pay, so it wasn't free.
He didn't scan it. He had to punch it in.
Well, either way, he got it. He got the freaking number on the
You're
screen.
pissing me off now. He did something with the thing and he had a card. I don't have that. I didn't get paid.
But maybe you should have brought in one of your freaking old timer coupons.
I didn't get trained to be a cashier.
Neither did I.
So I should have just took the stuff, put it in the bag, and walked out. I wasn't stealing. They didn't teach me how to ring up. So how do they expect me to ring it up? I went like this. It just wouldn't ring up.
I guess it's free.
And then you bowed up.
I was
I was
getting
taking
impatient
too
because
long.
I had Fiji water that I needed to scan and get the hell out of there. I was thirsty. All right.
Let's move on. This whole fight is gonna happen all over again. Let's move on.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
you just can't let it go.
All right. So this new this new build.
You guys better subscribe to this podcast
Oh,
because
man.
this is great.
Yeah.
Give this a thumbs
gold.
up.
Give this a thumbs up.
Give this a thumbs up. Hit that follow button if you like this podcast. Because this is gold.
Barcode idiots.
Where do you come up with this stuff, dude?
Dude, this burnt crashes, a lot of head injuries,
Yeah, a lot of concussion.
a lot of concussions. That's no joke, actually. It's going to be. I'm going to have a tough few years ahead of me.
I think you just got a concussion from this podcast.
Probably did. I'm very prone to them.
They just happen sporadically.
Yeah, just oh, there's another one. Yeah, you
Concussion ticks?
You miss your mouth. Oh, there's another one. Oh man.
This is like that scene in Dumb and Dumber when they give each other high fives and they totally miss.
They totally miss that.
Yeah,
you
and then
me.
he's got the mouth.
Yeah, we're throwing up layups and we're just totally missing them.
That's why I'll never play basketball basketball with you. Wow, I think I'm getting a concussion now.
Yeah, you got a concussion.
Well, it's happened. Yeah, well, it's like I don't even know. It's like yawning. It's just
It's just trash coming out
Oh
of our
my
mouths
God.
at this point.
I don't know what I'm talking
Let's
about.
refocus.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see and hear about this new build that we accomplished and my team accomplished and that we're filming.
Yeah.
It's bad.
But do they know how bad?
They don't know how bad.
Like bad in a good way, because the audience is going to be asking.
Yes, it's bad in a good way. It's
Should I put a picture right here, or should I just to show them like a quick teaser?
could
Okay.
get up and you could take the camera too.
I don't want to. No, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I know, because that's sitting right over there.
It's sitting right there, and you can't help but look at it.
I know, it's just glistening.
I had an idea that I wanted to produce my first prototype, complete Tranghese design quad. And in order to accomplish that, I had to put together an awesome team to do it. Mm-hmm. So
Go back to the beginning of the video, and he'll talk about that, because I don't want to go into detail about all this again.
yeah, no.
Sorry, I just took total credit away from you.
But
Go ahead.
the main gist of the new build was it centered around, I went and picked up a brand new 2022 KX450.
Jeez.
And I gutted it.
That's a heartbreak.
Yeah, it was, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a dirt bike guy, but this bike was cool. And just pulled the motor out, pulled the fuel pump out, pulled the electronics out.
Total gut.
Total gut.
Ugh.
And put the chassis and everything in the other shop. And it's just sitting there.
Collecting dust and cobwebs.
I'm going to end up picking up little piece by little piece and reassembling that bike because it's a gorgeous bike.
Yep.
Have my son ride it. Mm-hmm. But I took the motor out. We transplanted it into a KFX frame. And we didn't cut any corners on it. We didn't. Everybody has issues when they do hybrids with chain alignment. Mm-hmm. Well, I said, I don't want those issues. I want the motor in the center of the chassis. I want all my weight distribution, front, back, left, right. I want it all to be the same. And I said, we just need to come up with a swing arm that'll align the chain and everything with the motor. Mm-hmm. And I did.
Insane.
Yep. And the motor mounts and everything are just works of art. Mm-hmm. And we designed my own prototype A-arms. The lowers worked. The tops, these are actually the 3rd gen tops. Again, because you just improve things.
It's a lot of R&D.
Yeah, you find something that just didn't quite work, didn't line up right, didn't want a corner right, whatever. Mm-hmm. Whatever it may be. So
Going back to the test dummy right here.
Yep. So my own A-arms, my own steering stem, my own swing arm, my own subframe, and my own chassis mods.
That's insane.
It's a complete Tranghese hybrid badass. I reached out to Jesse Williams Motorworks. I believe he's in Wisconsin.
Oh, so he's in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, he builds like Frederick Norrand and Cartwright's Supercross motors. Mm-hmm. And he said, send me out the head. And he has CNC programming. Mm-hmm. And obviously a lot of R&D in those motors. And he CNC'd the head and he reground some big camshafts. That's what gives that thing the sound that it has. And
very deep throaty, raspy.
Yeah, it's very lub-dubby, like kind of like a top fuel car.
Yeah,
just very just real, and it just puts out a ton of power. The power curve is great. Builds torque right off idle. I want to say at 3,900 RPMs, it was already at like 26 foot-pounds of torque.
Insane.
It just, the torque curve just goes straight up and then goes over. And it's hard to hold on to, for someone like me. But I'm getting more used to it. Mm-hmm. The suspension, Elka Stage 5s, again, with a bunch of roll design secret stuff inside them. That I'm very fortunate to have those guys on my side to put together suspension like that for me. just everything, Garrett Torres over at FCI, Fuel Customs, hooked me up. Best filters and all that stuff in the business. Empire Exhaust, Eric over in Empire Exhaust, put me together a KX 450 header with the KFX mid pipe, and then also the dirt bike silencer. Kind of blended it all together, sent it out to me. I tacked everything into place where it needed to be, sent it back out to him. He welded it all back up to me for me, so it looks mint. Sent it back out to me, just class act of a guy. We talk about the customer service. Very fortunate to work with Empire because they're very similar to me in customer service. You reach out to them, they get back to you. Fourworks Carbon, Jason over at Fourworks hooked me up. All the guys at Flamingo. Casey Loring had help me out.
834 Motorsports.
834. Why was I going to say 844? Oh, probably because of me. 44. 834, Casey Loring over there hooked me up, got me in touch. And got me the hookup with the Factory 43 parts. You said you know him, Steve? Did you say his name
Steve Bazier, yeah.
And I didn't like the location of where he put the foot pegs on the KFX Nerf bars, so I didn't really ever push those. And I said, yeah, I'd love to run your stuff, but I need the foot pegs here.
Yeah.
And he said, no problem. He built me a custom set of Nerf bars. He said he doesn't make grab bars, so I, again, had to draw out a picture, all the measurements and everything for him so that he could make me a grab bar. Hit it dead nuts, so my measurements were good and his workmanship was good, and we hit it dead nuts the first time. And his front bumper. So he did a great job. Factory 43 over there did a great job. I'm sure I'm missing about 100 people. Mike Hiker over at HRE ATV, he's kind of like my right-hand man when it comes to, fabrication stuff, and Zach Smith, my welder, incredible welder. He's kind of a designer welder, I call him, as far as making sure the welds are absolutely perfect. They look cool.
Oh, yeah.
The designs, everything about it is very cool. And Mike himself, Mike Hiker, he's a phenomenal welder. And his motor mounts and stuff. We worked quite hard on this project. And as I mentioned before, it's not just me. I don't want to just say, hey, Tranghese Design built this. It's an amazing team.
Right.
It's an amazing team of people. And I keep saying it, but I'm fortunate. I'm very, very lucky to be surrounded with good people, and that I have the knowledge to put together that kind of team to be able to do something like this.
Right.
Is pretty cool.
Yeah, they were cool. Part of your dream that you brought to life.
Yes.
They could help you bring that to life.
Yeah, and Jake Ledoux, he does my CNC work. He did all the laser etching and everything on all my custom parts for me, specific for this build.
Right.
So just names just keep coming. It's incredible. It's incredible.
Like all the super guys that say on the podium, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Anybody that I forgot, thank you.
Anybody that I forgot, thank you. Toyota of Escondido, right? Swanee.
Oh my goodness!
Thank the Lord.
Yeah, right.
And what else does Cooper Webb say?
I don't even know.
He's the best at that part.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks the Lord.
Yeah.
His trainer Swanee.
Yeah.
The whole Baker's Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah. This quad is just fantastic. Handles great. Super light. I went with a bunch of titanium parts in it to keep the weight off of it. It handles good, accelerates really good, and if I had a dream quad, that'd probably be it.
Next to the one that we did in Cali, the Hulk.
Yeah, the Hulk's got more sentimental value.
Yeah.
'Cause everything on this one, if I damage it, I can repair it. So
Yeah.
this one will not be retired.
Yep.
I am gonna ride the crap out of this thing. I'm gonna beat it pretty good. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. It is a one-off build too.
It is.
It's a one-off.
Nobody else has it.
No. And you'd have to have deep pockets to build this kind of bike.
Yeah.
Just like any of the, well, I wouldn't compare it to a CRF hybrid or an LTR hybrid because those are already being,
The
built.
mount kits you can buy for that and stuff. This is genuinely the first of this style.
Yeah, the birth.
Where people are starting to ask me if I can build them the kit to put that in. And
I've asked you too.
Can I do it? Yes, I can. Am I going to? I don't know. It's a lot of time, and is it worth it? If you want to spend the money, it's definitely worth it. Mm-hmm. I would definitely say it. If you want to race a KFX, and you're like me and don't want to put a Honda in it, mm-hmm. This motor that's in this, I would put over just about any other 450 that I've ever ridden. Mm-hmm. It's got so much power, so much usable power.
Yeah.
The newer clutch setup that they went to in 21, 22, and the 23s have the newer clutch setup in it. It grips phenomenal. It's super smooth. Mm-hmm. I definitely recommend it. That's the way to go.
Okay. Well, compared to this, I do see a lot of people doing the YFZs with the YZ motors too. Mm-hmm. But this is, again, it's a work of art. It's a gem. It's definitely one that you could. we've mentioned it sitting in this garage 100 times, but we could just stand here and look at it because it is a piece of art. It is like the Mona Lisa of a KFX.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Not just because it's mine. It's just you can sit there and you can look at it and
it's dreamy.
This is different. That is different. This is different. The amount of parts on this machine that you can just go buy is very, very slim. Because even if you buy the part to have it work with whatever I did with it, it still had to be modified.
Yeah.
You look and you say, oh, well, it's a stock KFX throttle. Mm-hmm. It's not.
Right.
Had to be modified.
Yeah.
Just everything on it. Is just crazy. The coil location to be able to run the dirt bike coil. Modified the harness for a cooling fan, all that stuff, which you don't have to do. Mm-hmm. You can run that without a cooling fan as long as you're moving forward. It's going to stay cool. The Nerf bars are modified from factory 43. It's custom air box. The throttle body's modified. The engine's got work done to it. It's custom seat, custom plastics. It's one-off stem, prototype A-arms, special spindles.
Right.
Brakes are, different. Rear calipers, Honda. Everything in the back's Honda. I run a dirt bike chain slider. Right. on the swing arm, just everything you think of touch. The shifter's different.
Right.
It's just one thing after another to make it right. You can just put it together, and it would all work, but to make it right, it was just hours and hours and hours of just fine tuning.
Right. And that's why I called it the Mona Lisa of Kawasaki.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
That I'll definitely say.
There's another compliment for you.
And thanks.
Moving forward with our friendship, with what we've done in the last couple of years, what would you say is the next adventure for us in Tranghese design?
Can I let the cat out of the bag?
You can.
I told you the other day,
What?
I got invited to race in Australia next spring.
You did say that.
Yep. And that is a big, big opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very serious opportunity because it's a long way from home
Yep.
to be racing four-wheelers. It's something I don't take lightly. But even at my age, if you get offered something like that, you got to take it.
Just like that phone call from Jimmy White.
Yeah, just like Jimmy White says, Al, you got to come now. No problem, Mr. White.
Yep.
You know, so.
Wait, what, Mr.
Hey, Jimmy, if you're watching that, does it? I think that's going to be one big adventure. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, how many people get that opportunity?
Not many.
Only the guys that go over and do the Quad of Nations, Joe
Yep.
Hedrick, all those guys.
Yeah, there's a couple big events that are going on when I'm going to be there. That,
Well, I hope you invite me.
Yeah, we're going to have to sit down and talk about that one.
We're sitting down right now.
We're sitting down right now. Let's go then. You got your passport?
I do.
All right.
I do.
We may have to make this happen.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
Got to have it. If it's not documented, it didn't happen.
Exactly.
Like that crash you freaking brought up, you sons of B. I forgot all about that crash.
Well, me and your girlfriend or fiance, we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, he crashed. And she's like, no way. I'm like, yeah, he crashed at the Stellina track. Pretty good on the first ride.
And it was like, we were gonna shoot for a whole day. That was like 15 minutes in.
Yeah. You were, I think you were more pissed about the fact that you got your new gear dirty than you crashing.
Yeah.
I do believe. You were like, oh my God, my whole left side or whatever side it was all dirty. And now the video is going to have me looking like a poop stain.
That was the diva side of me. Yeah. I'm dirty.
Oh my God.
I got rubber gloves, and when I'm working on motors, I get a little diva in me. Yeah, you got to keep everything clean.
Yeah, for sure, especially in a video and a photo shoot. But
yeah,
well, that's cool that you're going all the way out there for that, and you got invited. That's again one of the lifetime opportunity, and
definitely.
Maybe if you invite me, I'll definitely go.
Definitely. I got to talk. I'm very fortunate. One of the guys over there said, hey, we've got a big house, got an in-law apartment. Mm-hmm. You're more than welcome to stay in the in-law apartment. And, we'll take you all around Australia. He said he'll take the time off of work while I'm there too. Mm-hmm. And we'll just vacation together, and bring me to dunes and all the different tracks to train at before the races. And
what kind of race is it?
Motocross.
Oh, it is a motocross event. It's not
races.
like one of those big desert races.
There is one of those that we're talking about possibly doing.
Okay.
It's called the Gas Dash. Mm-hmm. It's got its own Instagram and everything. It's like the Baja 1000 over here. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest event in Australia.
Got it.
And they were talking about that.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm quite ready for something like that.
Yeah, that's taxing.
But a couple rounds at their motocross series, I think I can do that.
Are they going to have you ride a Cowie or?
I believe I'm going to be on a Honda hybrid.
Oh, with a CRF?
Yeah, Luke Gainsford. Luke, if I just crucified your last name, I'm sorry. He's a four-time national Australian champion.
Oh,
motocross champion. And I talked with him, and he said, yeah. He said, you come over. He said, he's got like 5 quads. He said, you can take one of mine and ride mine while you're here. And the good thing is he wants to come over and race a couple nationals here. Uh-huh. And he can run the pro sport on that.
Oh, man. Okay.
So, one hand washes the other type deal.
Yeah.
And I think, we could have a good friendship.
That's pretty badass.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, pretty
Sure.
badass.
Yep.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap up here. I
Yeah.
don't really have any other questions. Is there anything you want to add before we end this podcast?
Just that when we shut the cameras off, I'm gonna slap the living hell out of you. That's about it.
Well, I think I'm gonna leave the cameras rolling. So at least it's documented. I could go to the cops and be like, "This dude freaking harassed me during my whole podcast, and he beat the shit out of me."
Nah, not that. You know, I got nothing but love for you, and I appreciate you being a big part of all my builds, a big part of all my videos, and my only photographer. You know, it's in a great friendship.
Yeah,
That's the most important thing.
for sure.
You know, and treat you like a brother. You treat me like a brother, and here we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and thank you for being a part of this podcast.
No problem.
New adventure for me, and a lot of people find interest in it. I've had a lot of people request it. So that's going to wrap up this episode 7 of the Vignette podcast. Again, Albert Tranghese, TrangheseDesign.com. Check him out. Follow him on Instagram. I'll leave everything in the description below. If you liked this podcast, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Hit that follow button on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the good stuff as well. And yeah, thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you. Sorry that was so long-winded, everybody. Those of you that stayed with us, really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see you in the next one.